morning. I hope that you're having a wonderful, wonderful week. Here it is Wednesday, and we're at the middle of the week today. Got a little bit of a busy day doing a funeral this morning at 10 a.m. For one of the young men that had passed away suddenly this past week. And then tonight, Bible study. And I'm looking forward to being with God's people tonight. And had a good day yesterday. Was out. I don't know if you saw it or not, but I was able to go out to eat with one of my men at the church and was able to lead the waitress to Christ. That was exciting. And watching God do a work in her life. Well, God will do a work in anyone's life. And I was just thankful to be a part of the tool that God could use to be able to be a blessing to this lady. And it looks like she's going to be in church this Sunday with her sister and their kids. We got Family Dedication Sunday. Looking forward to that and seeing what God's going to do here at our church. Well, today let's talk about digging ditches. How about that one? In 2 Kings chapter 3 and verse 16, the scripture says, "And he said, Thus saith the Lord, make this valley full of ditches." Israel and Judah faced a mighty Moabite army that seemed to be stronger than their own. Now they came to Elisha for guidance, and they said, "What do we do?" His advice was, he says, "Go to that valley over there." He said, "I want you to dig. I want you to dig the valley full of." I want ditches everywhere, all over the valley. I want you to dig some ditches. And it was the faith. Now they could have said that's a dumb idea, but it was their faith to dig these ditches that proved to God that they trusted what the preacher told them to do. Had they not dug these ditches, the miracle that happened against the Moabite army would have never happened because they did not show their faith to dig those ditches. Now, there's always much work to do before the miraculous can ever happen. Someone has to dig the ditches. God always has a miracle in the waiting, but the miracle never comes without someone working to dig the ditches. Now, digging the ditches takes work. There's no doubt about it. But the work is worth it when you see God come through with his mighty power. Now, I don't know about you. I want God to do something mighty in my ministry and in my life. I want that. But I want to share with you some ditches that we have to dig before God's going to do the miraculous. The first ditch is the ditch of vision. You got to have a vision. God always honors a faith vision every time. You see, you're going to live in mediocrity without a faith vision for the miraculous. One of the areas where we need a revival amongst God's people is in this area. Get a vision to do something great for God. The naysayers are out there. Well, we live on the Laodicean age. These are a bunch of deadheads that haven't done anything for God in years. And that's why they're saying that. You know why? Because they're lazy bums. You mark it down, lazy bums. You see, without a faith vision, you'll never see what God can do. God's always done the miraculous in the darkest of times. So why is this time any different? Second, you need to dig a ditch of organization. Nothing will happen until you organize. There are some who say, well, you don't want to organize God out, as if God doesn't work the organization. That's the dumbest thing I've heard. God works greater through organization than he does disorganization. Those who are talking about organizing God out are those who've never looked through the scriptures to see how many times God does the miraculous through organization. Taking the time to organize always allows his people, his work to do more. If we're organized, God can use each of us greater. Never underestimate the importance of taking time to organize what you're trying to do for God. Why? Organization allows you to do more. Disorganization causes you to do less. I would rather do more because I'm organized than less because I'm disorganized. Third, you need to dig the ditch of selling the vision. You got to sell it. You need others to get involved with what you're doing. You got to do that, which means you have to sell your vision to others to get them involved financially and in involvement. You see, people want to be a part of something big. They do. And communicating your vision and organization is going to help them to get involved with what you're doing. If you believe in what you're doing, then don't be afraid to sell your vision to others. They can't see the vision if you don't communicate it to them forth. You need to dig the ditch of work. Now, here it is. No miracle has happened without hard work. God always honors work. And if God's people are willing to do the hard work and dig the ditches, what you're trying to accomplish, there's no need for God. Listen, if you're not going to do that, then there's no need for God to work. God's not going to dig the ditch for you. He tells you to dig the ditch. My job, dig the ditch. God's part, fill the ditch. God only shows his power when we have worked to our ability to where now God's got to do something, and God always comes in. Fifth, you need to dig the ditch of prayer. Now, miracles are always bathed in prayer, every one of them. And we'll never see the great power of God performing miracles through our lives or ministries if we don't spend much time in prayer. My friend, you got to work, but you got to pray. Prayer is the catalyst that sets the miraculous on fire, that God says, I need you now, or you have to have this type of mentality. God, I need you now. I'm going to die trying to do something mighty for you. You got to step in, God. Now, let me ask you a question, my friend. Do you want God to do the miraculous in your life? If you do, you got to dig some ditches, my friend. That's what it takes. There's no secret to God doing something mighty. He always wants to do something mighty. You got to dig those ditches. Someone's got to get out there. You got to pray. You got to organize. You got to follow the organization. And God takes all of these things together with prayer. And he says, boy, I can work through someone like that. You want God to do something mighty. Take this, dig those ditches, and you'll see God do something mighty in your life and in your ministry. Well, I hope this is an encouragement and a help to you today. Now, let's remember today, be good to everyone. Everyone's having a tough time. Have a great day, my friend.